Bryan County 911 was the location of your emergency.
All right, it's Durant Tourism Economic Development Authority time for the meeting. Jim, would you lead us in the invocation? Debbie, would you like to do the flag salute?
Sure.
Let's just go ahead. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and keep everyone on this board just with health and peace and wisdom. So Heavenly Father, we pray that we will do what's right in this meeting, and we thank you for this time of fellowship. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
This is fellowship.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Roll call.
But this is,
Debbie?
a lot of that's construction. So
All right. Trustee Anthony here. Trustee Calhoun. Trustee Reed.
Here.
Trustee Shattuck.
Here.
Trustee Thorpe.
yes.
Vice Chairman Walker. Chairman Shear.
Here. Okay. The minutes of the last meeting, October 25, 2022. Any discussion on them?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Reed.
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck.
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe. Chairman Shear.
Yes. Financial reports. Jeff?
If you look at page 4, you'll see what the city of Durant shows as our balance sheet, ending balance $813,911.67 currently. If you go to the next page, page 5, you'll notice that revenue for November was up over last year, which is a good sign. It's the first time in a couple of months that's been that way. So, well, since July. So that was good. Good income producing month for us. And then if you go to page, not much going on as far as expenses this month. You'll see them on page 11. Expense items for October 22. You'll notice down there they total $25,317.02, leaving us on an approximate balance of $788,594.65. So the difference being the lag time between the city's financial reporting and what we have, I think, is a more accurate number here. So everything looks fine, and that's it.
Good.
On the Hoffman sanitation, is that a cleanup after all these concerts?
That was for the porta potties.
Porta potties, yeah.
And the Choctaw Print does a lot of printing for us there.
We're good.
Okay. Good job, Jeff.
Thanks.
Contract of Discover Durant advertisement on local hotel information channels. Any discussion on that?
Jim requested it to be on them.
Yeah, I
Good to
posted
know.
it. I talked to you about it. I haven't got it finished up yet, so we'll probably have to put this on for next month. They were supposed to send some things over on email, and I was going to give you who it was to get in contact with. And I went by, I had some business up in Oklahoma City probably about a month ago. And so I stopped by Shawnee because that's supposed to be their headquarters. And he said he'd get back to somebody with me. If they did, they never hit my email or text or whatever. But they say that they do this, it's usually what's called a public channel, which is a visitor channel too. And so they do this in a few places that they have this vibe. But I think it would be excellent for us to get it. I think it's going to be a captive audience. When you get them in a motel room, you can literally, even when I go up to Branson or somewhere else, I'll watch it a little bit in the morning. I'll watch a little bit after I come in. And then if I see something that I like, guess what? I'll stay over and go to it. But I believe with that and the events that come up all the time, I think we can catch quite a few people. We've got them here. And if they see something they like for the next day or the next 2 or 3 days, they're going to stay another couple of days in the hotel. When they do, we're talking about restaurants downtown that's going to benefit by it. But we'll get some more information on that. I can get back with you, and we can finish it up. You and Janet, y'all can finish it up. And I think it'd be a perfect deal, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you said
Most places I go, when you turn the TV on, it says, so that's the first thing that comes up. You gotta hunt and peck to find something else. So,
and that's what we want.
Yeah.
It'll bring in more tourism, it'll bring in for the whole city. So
Yeah,
we've all
I've
seen it, and that'd be excellent for us.
I'll watch them a little bit when I go someplace, see what
It'd be a big plus for us. I think maybe, you know, the city gets 5% off of us for about, I think, what is it, 4 owners? That's all the owners in motels. But, you know, that would be able to give maybe 2% of it back, because we can keep them here another day or two, then that's gonna give us more revenue, so.
Okay.
But you see the same.
You don't have
thing.
any idea on the cost of it all, do you?
Not yet, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Very good.
Our new,
So we need to table that.
oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's what I wrote.
Okay,
Okay.
We'll table
Okay.
number 3, okay. The number 4 is, our new bank account.
Mr. Chairman, Jason is here. He is outside, actually on the phone with IRS right now. So if we could just move that down to later and go ahead
Okay.
on the agenda.
Okay.
He's gonna be speaking on that.
I hope. Yeah.
That's what we're counting on.
All right.
He's with IRS.
We'll go on to number 5. Discuss and consider approval of Sidekick Marketing Commercial Lump Sum Payment.
What page is that on?
I don't know.
Correct, 12?
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and present that?
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for having me today. We were approached by the gentleman we've contracted to do our TV commercials. We have done one, paid him for one, contracted with it for to get a discount as for a volume discount. He was running a Black Friday special and grandfathered us in on that deal if we wanted to. We can still keep the same deal we have now if we choose to. If we would like to pay in a lump sum, we will save $4,000. He's going to give us the net savings off of the entire package price, which we agreed to, which was $40,000, and that would net us a savings of $4,000 over the life of the contract that we have if we pay up front. And again, the commercials will be done on schedules throughout. That won't affect anything from our timing or production schedules. It's just a matter of paying now to save $4,000, or we can keep the same deal and we'll still net a really good deal, which that's why I put the original contract so we could see the original numbers as well.
So what is your thoughts on it?
I think it's a fantastic deal. I think, you know, I think saving $4,000 now for, he does our website. I've got a nice update he did to the website. We just got finished last night. We've got the commercial playing in the hero banner. I'll address that whenever we get to our social or informational stuff. So he also does the Magnolia Festival website as well. He's well established in the community. I don't think the guy's going anywhere. I think we've got some creative things. We just want to get more timing, like we can get more shots at Lake Texoma, a little more planning and thought. Just now that we've got one out there, we can sort of have that. I think it makes sense to save the $4,000.
So they'll be taking shots of Lake Texoma?
We've got seasonal commercials, concepts. What we need to do now, the action item we need to do, and it's just with timing, now that we are through our busy season, now we storyboard our commercials, we start, you know, getting voiceovers, we start getting actors, locations scheduled. It's a production, and this is what they're doing for us.
Sure, I think as far as the drones, from what I'm looking at, is that you don't have to have a AFFA approval if you stay underneath 400 foot. But, you know, you start getting up higher, I'm sure you do.
Well, there's actually, the FFA is very stringent about that, and if you do anything that you're videoing or anything that you're using your drone for that is not for your personal use, and it is going to be used for any business transaction or any sort of, you know, like ranch lands, commercials, any of that stuff, highlight videos for tourism, you have to have a license to do that.
Sure you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You always have college students flying around.
That doesn't mean exactly a lot of folks are not.
From anywhere between
Yeah.
2 and maybe 2,000 foot.
Yeah.
And one of those things, if it hits the engine, can take it out. So
Well, now that Durant's a film-friendly city, you know, we'll file for permits on that as well, so that we, you know, get some action on that front too, from our standpoint. But the guy has a licensed drone pilot. He's an amazing, like, the guy does really good, like, footage, good effects. So he does have a fully licensed drone guy that does really good with video.
Sure. So the reason that we're going to get a better price is we're going to pay a lump sum, right?
Black Friday deal, man. Taking advantage of it. That's it. That's
What's the amount?
The total amount over the life of all the commercials, we got 5 of them contracted out for a total of 40,000, and we would net 4,000 less that. if we do-
36,
Yeah,
yeah.
36,000 would be the net, what we would.
Tried other people, and this is a good price.
There was, well, I've contracted commercial before. This is a good production price. I do not know what the cost was on the last commercial.
The last commercial was done 4 years ago, I believe, and I think it was 12.5. We'll have to go back and look on, but I believe it was 12.5, and that was for one commercial.
That feels right. And that 10 to 15,000 for produced commercial is. The other thing he did mention about the commercials as well is how we can get better use out of them, and that's one of the things we're going to be doing is, again, as we implement these videos, is getting them more saturated and getting them into places where we can track and have more of a record and account on how many times they're being viewed, where they're being viewed, and have more analytical data so that we can see what messaging is responding best in that format.
I believe that commercial is being ran on our flag on our website now, which is discovertherent.com.
That is correct.
It's going to be on Discover the Rent. Is it going to be on our webpage too?
Are you
That's
able
what
to
I
pull it
said,
up,
on
my
our
man, by
website.
chance? Fine. Let's say, since we're talking about it now, this is very applicable, yeah. Have you guys take a look. So now as you go onto the homepage,
There you go.
this is the banner that's playing right there. So the video is just on a continual loop like that. So people will always get an immediate visual of what there is to do here. These are also things that we can rotate out with the other commercials we'll be doing. So when it gets ready to be springtime, we'll have a Lake Texoma, commercial up there, getting all the, fun outdoor stuff in the community. So
And these are 30-second commercials.
this one is, yeah, we have them actually cut to a minute. This particular version is set to 30 seconds for television time.
Right.
That was the pressure to get the commercial done so we could get a new message to Discover Oklahoma.
30
And
seconds is a long time on video.
Yes,
I don't
it
know
is.
how many,
And a half, people are not going to watch.
No.
They'll watch this.
how many of you have watched Discover Oklahoma lately?
Oh, yeah.
Recorded. Our commercial has been on there several times. And so I think we're getting a lot of movement on that as well. And that's one of the things Jeremy keeps giving me the input on our data, which has been great. He'll tell you about that later. But I believe that has affected it as well.
Absolutely,
When's it
absolutely.
on air?
At 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. Push that little record button
I was
on
gonna say,
your,
or you can like it and
Yeah.
marathon watch it all day Saturday. That's what I did one day.
What channel?
Any feedback on
it's on Channel 12.
Yeah, actually I have. So
Okay.
there, and again, it's just been
I
from
think it's
local
Channel
people. I
10.
haven't spoken to
might-
anybody
I've got-
outside
Or
this
11.
community,
It's on
but it's
that
people that
off
have
channel,
seen it, that again,
which
we
is
watch
11,
local
I believe.
programming, things like that, and they
Okay,
said,
what
it
do you-
looks
what
fun,
do you
like Durant
want?
looks like a fun place.
table?
That's been the overwhelming kind of comment is,
It's
it looks
11.
bright, it
I'm
looks
Just talking to
fun.
my microphone,
You know.
Discover Oklahoma.
Which one of you that have this on the website?
No, that's why I
Yours is more
asked to get it,
sophisticated than
because
mine.
this is something
Oh, you
that's
know how to use
a
it.
pretty standard option on a lot of,
No, I'm-
again, tourism sites, movement, showing people doing things. That's engaging. That's what gets people to scroll down, so.
There's not one in Durant that has something.
That is correct, yeah. To my knowledge.
I move that we accept and pay the lump sum of 36,000
I'll
for the
sec-
the 5 new commercials.
I'll second it.
All right. Call the roll.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
And I love that commercial, all the bright colors and stuff. They really did it.
That's good. We just need to get the other one cut and up there.
Okay, the grant wrap-up for the Simple Family Museum Spirit of the Hawk Gala Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, so got a chance to meet and convene with Stephanie Luke, who is the representative applied for the grant, and they did a fantastic job. Just to give you a couple highlights there, as far as sponsorships and fundraising, they got a little over $80,000. That was including our $7,500. With that, they were able to do a really amazing gala and Hall of Fame celebration. This was an inaugural event, so there is definitely going to be more. It was very well received and attended. La Quinta was the hotel of choice there, and they said they had a pleasant time. Their first response down there about accommodations, that was very great to work with, and all their guests thought that was a great experience as well. Very great cultural experience as well. So not only were we bringing local dollars into the community, but we were also bringing culture to the community. And it really, again, it was a very, very well attended event and done very tastefully. So they all send their best, and certainly look forward to more endeavors with Simple Family Museum and doing some events in the future.
And Debbie, I believe that you hosted a lot of those at your hotel,
How
correct?
many rooms did you get out of that?
Probably about 15. So, and Stephanie Luke was great to work with,
Was
too.
that for
Yeah.
1 night or 2 nights?
Well, most of them were for one night. Frank stayed like 3 nights, and a couple of other relatives stayed.
Stephanie was also very adamant about using local vendors for all their print publications, all their advertising things. So they are also supporting local businesses here as well with a lot of that marketing and promotionals.
Just to add to that, she did give us several calls to find out, to make sure that they were members, not members of the chamber, but members that were here in Durant, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
Did
so I thought it was very
reception go over
good.
pretty good?
It went over really well. I was sick. I didn't get to
I
go.
was
Stuck at
there,
the
it was
hotel.
really nice, yeah,
Yeah.
I was impressed with it, yeah.
They,
Did you get to go?
Did not.
Quite a few people there?
Yes.
Yeah.
They had all of their tables sold, was my understanding.
Okay.
And
it's just under 60 people attend the event. Yeah, 57 people there. It's on page 18. They do a little population breakout.
and
That was very, it was really very
Also-
nice, I mean, it was very, very nice.
real quickly, before I forget, we will start sending out an RSVP on any of these events because of the sponsorship we do. We normally have a table at some of those, and I would love to see representatives from other than myself at some of these places.
So anybody on the board will get a RSVP?
Yeah, we will send it out to you guys. Just you have to get it back to us, though. It's called check, and then yes or no.
What if you just walk in there and let you in?
I'm afraid they may give that table to somebody else.
Oh, the one thing of note there as well, I do think is worth mentioning, they put it in there. We had people all the way from Wyoming to attend the event as well. So it did bring people that, probably didn't know where Durant was on a map before the event, that now have a great understanding of that experience here. So thought it was noteworthy as well.
I'm glad you went, Danny. I'm glad you got to go.
Thanks.
Number 7. Durant Chamber of Commerce Activity Marketing Report.
Get my work done today.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
keep
be
thinking I
hoarse.
see Jason pop in behind me. I want him.
There he is.
There it is. Do we want to continue on here? Or do you want to? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make it short and sweet. I will get to the highlights. Our marketing outreach is going fantastic. One of the things that we discussed last month that I was going to sort of wrap up and put a pin in was all of the traffic that we had from the concert series. We gave that enough time, was able to analyze all the numbers, and this was basically the feedback with some cost and some relative kind of statistics. So over the concert series impact, again, this was 4 concert series, last 2 weeks of September, first 2 of October. So again, we've got a lot of activities and a lot of chatter on the channel. So the fact with all of that noise, we're able still to get this significant impact was really good. People reached 87,548. Our post engagement was incredible. People are fanatical about their music. 26,000 post engagement, that equates to a 30% average, just to give you a frame of reference there. If you look to the right, national average for Facebook engagement is not even 1%. So that's just, again, astronomical performance there. Like, shares, and reactions were great. It was the new followers that really kind of started, looking significant to me. So if you look at a cost acquisition, and from followers, cost acquisition means paying for Facebook ads and all those kinds of things. The number of impressions and ads that you have to hit to get followers is roughly about $19.68 a person. We picked up 274 followers without spending any money on social media campaigns. And that, again, was roughly about $5,400 worth of advertising money that it takes to acquire those followers that we were able to get through our exposure to things like this, these people liked something they saw, they engaged with the post, and then they decided to follow our channel. So that's a great pipeline that we're getting very quickly without paying. So I just, again, want to just make sure that we're all doing the right thing and getting as many people, you know, on our bandwagon as we can, and just I think it's important that we're doing it as cost effectively as we possibly can as well. So it means we've got a good message. We've got great things that people want to come and do. So that's all very good to report.
So most of this people reached, is that off the internet or a lot of it off television?
That is strictly off our social media channels. I don't have access or any way to capture that level of data from all that. This is just what I can get data from, and that is our social media channels.
So that's people that got on our website and looked at it.
This is just people that got on our Facebook page.
And
Our click-throughs to
engagement now?
post engagement means somebody stopped and looked at a post, they clicked on a picture, they clicked on a link. Even if they just stopped and paused on it, you know, it's a very short window that Facebook captures that as a post engagement. But if anybody stops and looks, it means you've processed that image. That's one less we've got to give them to make a decision.
Which concert artist got the most response? You don't know?
The rock guys, the Josie Scott guys, Josie Scott and Brett Scallions, they got more than Pat Green was the third.
What
But
band
they
was it?
didn't get the attendance.
They didn't get the attendance.
Is
That's
that,
so
is that the one, the
crazy.
shiny rib?
Shiny Ribs was second.
Okay.
And then Pat Green was third, and no, Doug Stone was third, and Pat Green was the least, like, had the least engagement and reach. Doug
But
Stone,
he had more at his concert.
he had the most attended at the concert. Because
that
it's
was
an easy
crazy.
sell. They saw Pat Green and, okay, we're going to go and tell our buddies. Everybody else had to click and look and see who these folks are, how much fun they had, and all those sort of. So it kind of made sense when you thought about it from that standpoint. But yeah, Pat Green was the lowest. Doug Stone, I think, was much higher just because he was the first concert. So there's a lot of excitement around that. So.
Yeah, I knew, I've been told that a couple of them didn't have as much as a couple, three more did. Just throwing this out, sometimes, I think it was either Sherman or Van Austin, they went up a little higher, they had to pay more. Really, what you do, you could take two of those concerts, make it into one, and double the money for somebody coming in. They had, and this is old, so y'all probably won't even remember this, but you remember the Monkees?
Oh.
Hey, with a monkey.
Peter
Hey,
Tork,
with a
man,
monkey.
yeah.
Say, monkey.
He went to one of those places, either Sherman.
Tell Ari.
And it was Mickey Dolenz, and they pulled.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know he's gonna pull a bunch in. You don't even remember. No.
Mickey Jones, man, yeah, I got all those boys.
But I'm just talking, maybe we can, maybe put two of those concepts together and get some more quality in to where we pull them in.
Jim, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. But one of the things that we need to do, and I had already told Jeremy this, we need to approve that very first thing at our December meeting so that we can get those contracts early. Because the longer we wait, the quicker they fill up.
I like to bring that up on the next one. I just want somebody even better. And if we have to pull a couple of them in to get better people, and we have two of them that's not pulling the crowd, we need to get somebody in.
But remember, by doing it 4 times, you're going to have a crowd at each one of those.
Yes, it is.
And that was the purpose in trying to create and generate a crowd, which generates sales tax revenue.
Yeah, and I agree
And to
with
get
what you're
somebody
saying
here
too.
ahead, you're gonna have to put the money out, because they book a year or two in advance. So
I see what you're saying too, but also different genres. You're gonna draw
Yeah.
different people, and if you only have 2 genres that maybe doesn't interest half of their rent, I'm sure Tip would know better which ones to pull.
I think
But
one of the
I
things.
would like to get bigger ones.
One of the things in looking at the stats that we have, those that did not pull a crowd in, I think generally they have a larger fan base
Yeah.
that's checking in to see where they're at. So, I mean, that's give and take on anyone you've got, because their genres may fly in East Coast, West Coast, but not so much in centralized America.
Right, during Oklahoma.
So, with that being said, I do think that it's good that we experiment with it. But guys, I'll tell you, if you want to pull people, it's got to be red dirt.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We,
So
in
I don't know-
Durant,
I don't know
absolutely.
how this would do in the Sherman, Denison, this area. There's beginning to be a lot more Spanish people here. And they got some excellent bands down in Dallas. And even some regular Caucasian people would love to go down there. I mean, they put on the show. And, I mean, they can play that Mexican music, but I don't know how.
Listen, man, don't get any mariachi going in here, buddy. You'll start seeing a dance go, my man. Like, it's good music, yeah.
Yeah, really.
We're working on that, and
That's,
hopefully we'll have
yeah.
a presentation very soon.
And the main thing, and if we ever got one in, I suggest that you and Janet, they need to bring y'all up and do the little Mexican dance along with the dance.
I will do that, sir.
I actually did it in Mexico City with Southeastern went to Mexico City, believe it or not.
I think that's Debbie's call.
Speaking of wonderful entertainment,
Stephanie did just text me, and she said that there were 60 at the reception and 150 at the gala.
Awesome.
So they're watching.
Yeah, I went to both of the reception and the gala.
Yeah.
They're both.
And then the last bit for information, Joe McDaniels from Choctaw gave us a list of updated concerts, which we've got some great ones. Speaking of good music that brings you back, REO Speedwagon.
Raise your rates.
So we've got some great folks there. And then also the Cultural Center has an art market and cultural events going on December 3rd as well. So they've got a good holiday lineup going on out there too.
Jeff, he pointed at you like you might know them personally. He said REO Speedwagon.
Oh, yeah. They had a big booth right next to ours. Right.
I am too.
From Durant. Well, this is a Choctaw Cultural Center, but we're talking about Durant can bring in some of this events and stuff, or I mean, not.
They're big partners with a lot of the events we host. Like they had a large booth and presence at the Magnolia Christmas Festival. So that's sort of how we align and work with them and help them get exposure as well.
So somebody like Johnny could bring in her art. Of course, she'll be bringing in this. She'll be in this.
That, I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have a list of the artists, Jim, but I'm sure if you'll go to their website, that they will have those listed.
She was at the last one. Like that's the only frame of reference, but I'm not sure what agenda or plans they have for this particular one.
Well, thank you for bringing this. This is good for us.
Well, thanks, Joe. I appreciate Joe for sending that our way.
Yeah,
That was
me
very
too.
nice. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. IRS. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
That brings us to number 4, Jason, our new bank account.
Well, we're stuck on the EIN problem still. I don't think that we can decide everything we want about the bank account, what kind, who the signers are, all that good stuff, pending, and approve all of that, and then once we meet the requirements for them to actually open the thing. None of the stuff on the IRS website for an EIN I feel like really applies to us, except for, because we're not a taxpayer, we're a tax collector, and we don't have any employees. We have some contractors, but we don't have any employees. So we don't fit into any of their square holes. So that's why I was finally broke down and tried to get on the phone to talk to somebody, and ultimately failed. I finally gave up and just came in here. Because we're more of a government entity than anything. We're not a normal trust. The EINs that they have on there for trusts are for if I go open a trust, or if one of you goes and opens a trust for your property, for your kids to inherit without having to go through probate, that sort of thing. That's what they're talking about, not a public trust that is responsible for maintaining public funds.
I've never seen any organization get out from underneath the city like this.
Jason, were you able to visit with Brett about the DIA?
A little bit.
Okay, and
Was he able to give you any guidance?
No, not at our meeting. He was going to see what he could find out and get back to me. I met with him and Brandy, and neither one of them could really tell me. And so then I called a CPA that I know to see if I could get answers out of her, and I haven't got anything out of her yet either. So
Nobody wants to
this
take
is an
responsibility for it.
unusual. It's an unusual thing. It doesn't happen very often, and so
And this is before my time on the DIA. The DIA has a checking account,
yes, they do.
so they have to have all
They
the
have to have-
information we're needing. To the best of my knowledge, it was set up by the former chairman of the DIA
the city manager.
and the city manager, and
You talking about Greg?
yes, and so I don't know how they, other than, I don't know the answer to how.
I'm not sure that Greg knew anything about that.
Okay, I Then I don't want to misspeak then, because that's what I was told.
Well,
If you look back in the minutes,
Yeah, you would know better than me.
I think it clearly states that Tim announced that at one of our meetings. But I don't believe Greg knew anything about that at that time. I
The
don't
company's been
know.
open since before I was.
Yes.
No, it's probably been open
Yes.
since, it started.
No, it was opened when Tim was city manager, because he was the one that took the initiative to do it. It's a long story, and
Well, I got on the Secretary of State's. Go ahead.
Take your time,
Uh-huh.
and I don't want you getting hurried, and I don't want to get in this mess on us. I don't care if it takes 3 months or 6 months.
I agree.
I don't need this, nobody else needs this up here, and you don't need it.
Right.
For sure.
We all agree. I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with that. So
Okay.
And we have, Jason, already, that I believe in meeting before last, we voted on who will be on the signature card.
That's what I
So
thought, but I
that
was
was
going
in
through the
the
minutes
minutes.
trying to see where that was, and I didn't see it, so.
It's on our website.
Okay,
And I
very good.
believe it was in the October meeting.
Okay.
Take your time and get it right.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
on the Secretary of State's website looking up the Durant Industrial Authority and trying to see if I could find anything there, and I ordered some of their documents. We'll see what I get from the Secretary
You
of
might
State.
check under the city of Durant.
Okay.
I,
Yeah. The Durant Industrial Authority has been around much longer than I realized. Like, I'm going to transpose two numbers. It was either 87 or 78, and I think it was 78.
78.
Long time.
Okay. Yeah.
If you
It
want,
was.
if you want some information on that and the history,
Uh-huh.
he'll probably be back next month, and he can give you an hour's worth on it. It's called Child's Childhood, because his dad and some of those people back then, I think Rector Swearingen and all that, started that thing up a long, long time ago.
Okay.
it was.
Mr. Wheeler and,
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we
Then
might
you had Tommy Kremer for you.
either no action this
The
one or-
only thing that I will say is we're not having any better luck getting the checks and the payments out.
Right.
And we have got, on our last 3 grants, I mean, it was down to the last minute getting it to them. One did not receive it until after the event.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that we've got to do something different in that area if we don't pursue this, which it makes me no difference, honestly. But it's not fair when we have a grant, we take it through the processes that we have to take it through in order to get a PO and then the signatures, and we don't even know who gets paid on that Friday.
Okay.
We want it to where if the IRS comes down here and questions people, we want one person to be our voice on this board, and it's always going to be the president.
Okay. As everybody looks at Danny. All right. Yeah. I'll get it figured out one way or another, or else
I
I'll.
don't want me dealing with the government stuff.
Yeah. Somebody will be able to answer it for us
That's fine.
sooner or later.
You'll get onto it, but,
Have you gotten your payments?
Mine? Yeah. Fine.
Okay, good.
I haven't.
Good.
Yeah. I don't submit invoices all that often, and so I don't
Yeah.
worry
and
about
I
it
don't know how
coming
many
in all
hours
the.
you're going to spend on it, but Debbie and Brenda, my manager,
Uh-huh.
when they get on somebody like this, you already know, you're going to be on that phone for 30, 45 minutes, and they're going to hold you on there, and all of a sudden it's going to click. And so you're going to be on that thing for 3 or 4 hours a day. We've been there, we've been there too.
Yeah.
So on them,
Yeah. 45 minutes is where I finally gave up.
yeah.
and they want you to give up.
Yeah.
And not just on
It
this,
worked.
on other ones.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks, Jason.
No.
That
think
brings
that's
us
it.
to, thank you, Jason. That brings us to new business.
I got 2 of them. I'm looking at the Choctaw Monument. I talked to Odin not too long ago. It's gonna look good. That's better than I ever thought it was gonna look.
It looks very
They get all the
It
lights.
does.
The lights are supposed to be on it all night long. The only thing I thought we talked about when we first started is putting about a 2 or 3 foot fence around it. She seemed to want to, they put a seat in the middle of it, but I'm afraid with those going up, I know boys, not as much as girls, but I know I was a little boy, and these 2 guys been a little boy, and we love to climb. And man, I don't want somebody to get hurt if they, if you got a fence around that thing, and that's just a suggestion from us. But that way, it's in their liability, but if you can just walk in it and just start climbing up, I don't know whose liability, I guess the city or whatever comes underneath that. But it's gonna be nice, and it's gonna be lit up all night and day, but I mean, I think that's an impressive monument for the city of Durant, for the Choctaws, that has brought in all this economic development here. If it had not been for the Choctaws, I'm telling you, you can drive right down here to Hugo, Oklahoma, and that's what we look at today. We'd still be around 11, 12,000 people. But them putting in that many jobs, 6,000, and having it out there, I'm telling you, it's blessed during Oklahoma like you never seen. There'd be half the motels, half the restaurants in there right now. If they were to leave and move over to Hugo, you'd have half the motels, half the restaurants go bankrupt within a year. So I'm telling you, that's good for them. I think there's going to be people coming to see it. I'm hearing that the Choctaws have a magazine, and that he's going to come back and take a drone and shoot it on from even up above and put it on one of the Choctaw magazines. So, you know, they're proud of it. So I think it was an excellent suggestion when Johnny come in and did it. But I'd like to see a fence around it, you know, if we can look at it, but, you know, that's up to them. The other thing I look at is the overpass. And Charles has called me up 2 or 3 times. And I know y'all are the management company, so you have to do it no matter who suggested it, and we voted it. But somebody's got to oversee this.
We are not the management company, and that is not in our contract.
It is. So what it is, we just put it up there, and if they're not doing their job, we just revisit it, and we can either keep it with them or do something else, right? So he's pretty well upset, and I am too. Whether people know it or not, when you come into town and you got 6 nice motels out there, and if that's green like the Choctaws out there, it impresses people, puts them in a good mood. We know that. And I thought they were already going to have ryegrass down. They didn't need a watering system this year. All they needed to do is put it down about a month ago, and then put that ryegrass down. You're talking about knocking the socks off of people coming into Durant, Oklahoma. That would have been big time impressed, because we would have been the only one that I know of on 6975 that would even do that. And I'm not seeing that, so I don't know what happened to didn't we vote on the ryegrass being put in the, I mean, it's been raining, my gosh, how many times in the last month?
Jim, if you'll look at that contract, I don't think it has anything about overseeding or ryegrass in it.
Wow.
It talks about and I can't say for sure, but I know it does talk about the equipment and them mowing. And so I don't know. Now, if we want to go back to the contract.
Yeah, I missed the meetings where y'all had it set up. I got one phone call from him, but I didn't have anybody leave an email. I would like to revisit that this next month, and I think Charles will be here, and he'll be able to put in his, comments. I just think
Well,
that,
it's a huge cost though, too.
Man, I mean, it'd have been a perfect time. There was no worry about water.
Yeah, I would like to hear from the city manager.
Yeah, it's a
would too.
huge cost too, though. They put ryegrass just in that field and in a little bitty spot of mine, and I paid $1,600 just for that little bitty spot
Right.
in front of the hotel, that empty land right there.
Jim, Mr. Chairman, would you like us to make sure that the city manager and the Parks and Recs are at the next meeting?
We need to
Okay.
have a discussion, because, I mean,
I still-
where are they? They were buying equipment.
It would be more than that if I paid
Available, and
$1,600 for just.
Yeah.
I'd like a report
And
on it.
I've noticed
They
a
don't
lot
want
of
to
trash, particularly in the media.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it makes
Underneath the bypass.
Underneath the bypass, and right
Yeah,
along.
we got to do
Both
better.
They're talking about short
I would like
fuse
to hear
there.
from
The
somebody.
city's got to do
Mowing it
better.
all
We got to
winter.
start spending some money on
But they get
making stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
rather than just putting out fires, making stuff.
What do we
better.
spend on that so far? Do you remember? Have we given
Well,
them?
part of the problem was, and I'm not defending anyone on it, but I know that Ryan said that he was having difficulty getting the money for it. And so with that being said, I think it's very good that we bring them in and talk to them.
Yeah.
We're just, I just think it'd be good for the hotels out there. We put in 5%, and we help downtown and put in over $120,000 for concerts.
Be
I think
good
we ought to
for-
get some feedback on that too.
Yeah.
I agree.
It'd be good for all the whole town. I mean, making it attractive. I mean,
Very good.
we all.
Good point, Jim.
So we'll put it on next month.
Speaking of next month, that falls between Christmas holiday and New Year's.
Oh, yeah, look,
December 27th is the date.
Yeah, and we have not had enough for a quorum to attend. So we've had to, Jason helped me with this. Do we still have to meet, on that day, even if there's not going to be a quorum? Okay, but we do have to,
Well, we wanted to bring up a couple of things.
Do we even have to meet in December? No.
The only thing is we want to hurry up and bring up the concert deal.
Concert deal.
well, we could even have a special called meeting for those items in the early part of January, maybe invite the city and Jim to talk about the contract, and then also list those things that we need to get permission
I
for.
don't see any sense in having it. I'm just saying do it in November, not in January.
That's why I'm asking, Jason, is that okay?
We're not gonna have a forum, we can just announce that meeting is canceled.
Okay. And I think that it's pretty, I don't think there's gonna be a quorum. And see, I will be out of town. We don't even know if Charles will be back yet.
People really aren't gonna be here.
Okay.
You can just you can post that it's canceled.
Okay, okay.
We're not gonna have a forum. I don't think so, but I'll check it out.
Just let us know what we need to do to make it absolutely legal. And we also will need to vote on where we're going to meet and get that into the Attorney General, correct? At the first of the year?
Yeah, we have to announce all of our meeting times and locations.
Okay, so we'll need to vote on that too, so.
And that being the
Well, we
January.
already know it's going to be the first, or the second Tuesday of every month, isn't it?
Right. So we have to turn that in.
See our city manager out there, Lisa Taylor. Would we like to ask her any questions?
Well, we can't.
Not until next month, she got in here late, but,
Sorry, Alderman.
we're just looking at ryegrass and things. I'm estimating before we set this thing up, but we need to have another meeting. I'd like to have Charles on that, committee too, but we got to, we're not, Charles not pleased, and I'm not either with what we're doing out there. There's still some trash out there, and I was under the expression that we talked up here that it's gonna be ryegrass, but apparently it wasn't put in the
This is 6975 Main Street intersection.
but that'll come up next month, right?
Yeah, we can't really discuss it.
Okay, yeah,
It's too late to do it now.
okay.
No, we gotta make a motion. You gotta make a motion to.
I make a motion. Adjourn?
Yes. I'll second it.
And any other business? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
I'll
Adjourn.
second it.
She told me to.
Okay.
He got ants in his pants, so we gotta get it.
You did it.
And we are finished before 4 o'clock.
Yay. Okay, we gotta take a roll call, don't we?
Y'all know how to make you happy.
Trustee Anthony, yes. Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Trustee Shattuck?
Yes.
Trustee Thorpe?
Yes.
Chairman Shear?
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Does anybody ever vote to not adjourn?